Really, marketing was something I had to learn on the way. Like nobody taught me how to market. I wasn't sure how to market. So it was something like I just like developed kind of on my own trial and error and just like literally having to adapt with the times and the internet and everything else. So like my marketing was traditional business cards, groundwork, basically putting in groundwork as much as possible, meeting as many people as I know, growing my network, so I can grow my net worth.
Life that I'm living. Sit back, chill, and start a multi-business with the focus of making millions. It's the stuff that dreams are made of and no. Hello, everyone. Thanking you for joining us for another episode of Let's Talk Business. I have to say I'm very excited because today we have a special guest, as all of our guests are special. But today we have a young man who I've grown close to as my little brother in this area, in this parts of the South Bend area. And I've had the privilege to watch him excel in his skills and watch him develop as a business owner. And today I get the privilege to spend some time with him and share this opportunity to introduce him to you all. Some of you may know him already. He's a local homegrown young man from the area who's made some advancements, and we're going to talk about that. Well, the person I'm talking about is Chris Evans. Hey, Chris, what's going on, buddy?
What's up, y'all? How you doing, man? It's a pleasure to be on y'all show. Thank you
Yeah.
for having me.
Yeah, man. Thank you for taking the time out, my buddy. So listen, man, I just want to say I want to commend you for what you've been able to accomplish so far in your journey as an entrepreneur, as a business owner. I remember what it was like for you in the beginning. And today, I just would like to take some time for you to share your journey with others and inspire and motivate other young entrepreneurs who may be in your industry so that they don't give up when times get hard. So let's talk a little bit about it. First and foremost, tell them your
Do it.
background. Where you from, bro?
I'm from South Bend, Indiana. Um, Lakeside, West Side, whatever you want to call it, but we call it the Lakeside. From South Bend, Indiana. That's where I grew up at. I went to Harrison Elementary School, Navarre Middle School, Washington. So prior to the West Side, um, I started cutting hair when I was middle school. Started cutting hair when I was young. Um, it kind of transferred from me just being like in tune with art. You know what I mean? I always had an artistic side, but I didn't know how to channel it. So I started cutting hair, and I never thought it would turn into what it is now. It just kind of just kept going. Um, I I cut hair at Nothing But Cuts Barbershop, 4610 Western. I worked there for 7 years. Wooski, I worked next to Wooski. He taught me a lot, helped inspire me on this journey. It was other barbers who inspired me too, Poppy and my cousin Jazz, and everybody kind of played a role in it.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah,
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 it's been a
yeah,
journey.
yeah. And I'm glad you mentioned all those individuals, Chris, because um, like you said, it's been a journey for you, man. You said you've been cutting hair for since you was young. What was it that what was it exactly about cutting hair that you said that's the career choice I'm going to go into? What was it that made you choose that particular field?
I mean, the gift was already there. So it honestly was the financial freedom, and it just all aligned. Like it all made sense. So I wasn't like just looking for career paths, and I was like, oh, let me be a barber. You know what I mean? It just kind of happened. And then when I looked at it, it was like the gift was already there. It was like right under my nose.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'm glad you was able to identify your internal gift and be able to share that with others, man, because you do a great job of cutting hair and you've been doing it for quite some time. Now, let me ask you this. Over the years that you've been cutting hair, what are some of the changes that you've observed in the industry or some of the adjustments you've had to make as a barber?
Been a lot of changes. I'm like in the middle of like the two generations with it. So the new era, the new age barbering, plus the old school, old fashioned barber. So I kind of like was through in the middle of all the changes. So I kind of had to just adjust with it. It was a lot from prices, the price inflation, to the transition in hairstyles, um, the enhancement era where all the sprays and all the extra stuff came about, the sponges and all that kind of stuff. So I kind of witnessed like a little bit of it all.
Yeah, good stuff, man. And you was able to make the necessary adjustments that came along with it, and no doubt, I'm sure your clientele is very happy with you. Now, let's go back a little bit. When it comes down to your beginning stages, you were cutting hair. You mentioned at the barbershop that you were working at, and how individuals invested into you by training you or giving you some tips or pointers to help you improve and advance in your field. What type of encouragement would you give to a up and coming barber so that they can think about how important it is to remain teachable?
Um, to stay meek and stay humble and actually listen when somebody telling you something, even if they not like, even if you want to go further than them in life and with your career, like they still been there and their knowledge is still somewhat valuable. So listen as much as you can and just soak it all up because it's gonna come a time where you need to apply it.
Yeah, yeah, good advice for that. So when it comes to being a barber, educational wise, what steps did you go into to be legit in terms of being able to cut hair as far as schooling?
I went to Inspiration School of Beauty and Culture. Kente Lark was my um, excuse me, instructor. Kente Lark was my instructor.
Okay. Okay.
Um,
How
that's
long?
where I studied at, and that's where I got my license and everything.
How long was the schooling for you?
Well, I kind of went twice. I started going, and then I stopped. I got in trouble, and I stopped going to school, and then I started back. So altogether, it was like maybe like roughly about 2 years.
Okay. But if you wouldn't have got into that trouble, it would have been less time to get your license. Is that what you're
Yeah,
telling
it
us?
would have been less time. Yeah, it would have been less time.
Gotcha, gotcha. So now in your industry, no doubt, one of the big things is marketing and sales. How do you
Mhm.
market yourself and how did you improve your sales?
Really, marketing was something I had to learn on the way. Like nobody taught me how to market. I wasn't sure how to market. So it was something like I just like developed kind of on my own trial and error and just like literally having to adapt with the times and the internet and everything else. So like my marketing was traditional business cards, groundwork, basically putting in groundwork as much as possible, meeting as many people as I know, growing my network, so I can grow my net worth, and just really putting it in. However, I need to meet people. However, I need to get the message across that this is my service and this is what I'm here to provide. So, internet, real life, going up to people first, advertising, um, however I need to do it, paying for ads, content, whatever I need to do, just to get it out there.
Okay, okay. So yeah, you said groundwork and it's grind work as well, and that's what it sounded
Mhm.
like. So you called it traditional marketing. I appreciate that because marketing has
Yeah,
certainly made a change lately in the technical
yeah.
world. So let me ask you this then: you got your license, you are able to legally perform these duties. You cut hair. So now you've got your license. What was the steps you took to establish your business? I mean, if I'm not mistaken, you were cutting hair for a while. You mentioned at a shop, but at what point did you say I'm gonna start my own business?
It was after I had already moved out the city. Like I moved, and my first business when I moved was a mobile barbershop. That was the first one. So I did that. It was new city, new business. I kind of just was like, I'm freestyling with it, you know. Plus, it was the pandemic,
Mm.
so uh, after that, I uh, I was cutting hair at home for a while. After I stopped cutting hair, I got back in the shop. I rented a booth at a local barber shop for a year, and after that, I, I decided to go into business for myself.
Okay, okay. So wow, you mentioned that when you was in the midst of making these leaps and bounds, the devastation of COVID was in the air. So how were you able to navigate that? I mean, you said you had to stay home for a little bit, business kind of shut down a little bit.
Nah, I moved during COVID.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
I moved during COVID. It was still going on, and unfortunately, Dallas was open. It was yeah, Dallas and Atlanta was the only cities that was open. So
Okay.
as far as like not to the public, but as far as like the nightlife, the like clubs, people, like stuff was still open. It's just like the regular world was shut down. But Dallas and Atlanta, Texas and Atlanta were two places that were still operating. So I moved during the pandemic.
Okay. So that meant that you still had the opportunity to make some money then because Dallas and Atlanta was still functioning.
Yeah,
But
it's
no,
still
no,
functioning.
yeah, no doubt they took certain precautions. You know, we not go, make Dallas or Texas them too bad.
Nah.
Okay, cool. So let's talk a little bit about that mobile business. How did you establish that? What did that look like for you?
um, I didn't do it at first when I got down here. I was down here for maybe like a month,
Mm,
and then I had to come up with something. So I started looking. I started thinking about going mobile, and I found a bus in Illinois, a like old party bus type of thing, like and I went and bought it. I went back home, bought it. We did like a little bit of work. It was already kind of like set up.
mm.
So we did a little work to it, and then I drove it back down and started operating.
Okay, okay. Now that, like you said, that's something different. A mobile haircut with a bus. So that was like a traveling barbershop, no doubt.
And we didn't know when like regular barbershops would open back up. We didn't know like when the world would open back up to normal.
Okay. So you proved yourself to be creative during that time to keep your business afloat.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Okay. So then obviously something uh, changed in that arrangement. You no longer were doing the mobile barbershop. What changed and what made you pivot and how did you
I mean,
pivot?
I did it for I did it for about a year, a little over a year. I did it. Um, I did end up getting into an accident in it because I needed a driver.
Mm,
Like I was driving and working it, so it's
mm.
like I needed a driver. But I ended up getting into an accident in it, and I still operated a little while after that, and then I just kind of put it down.
Okay. Okay.
There was a lot of moving around.
Oh, okay. Okay. So you was circumstances changed and you changed with it
Yes, sir.
again.
And
Yeah.
I changed with it.
Okay. Okay. So then from there, what was the next step for you? Obviously, you said you still you created a new business or you just extended your business.
No, I created a new business. Not right away though. Um, it was about 2 years after that when I got back in business.
Mm,
It humbled me for sure. I worked from home for a while, and then I started back working, renting a booth in a barbershop, and I did that for a year. And then the next year, I went into business for myself,
okay. Now, what is the name of your business right now?
Rich Republic
Okay.
LLC,
Okay. Okay. And your business is registered in the state of Texas, correct?
Texas.
All right, all right. Well, we're just so proud of you, man, that despite the challenges, the ups and downs, you continue to move forward and you've proven yourself to be a man of determination as well as have a passion that you wasn't going to let something prevent you from doing something obviously that you love. Um, let's talk a little bit more about those challenges, though. What were some of the things that fed you to keep you going as things continue to have mishaps or some challenges that you face? What made you say, I'm just gonna keep moving forward instead of just going to get a regular 9 to 5?
Because you gotta have a burning desire to win. Like it gotta be inside you. So and it has to stay burning. Like you gotta feed that desire. So if you don't have that, then you'll give up at any time you face obstacles.
Yeah, yeah, and you're right about that. You got to have a burning desire. Thank you for sharing that. I agree with you on that. So when it came to, now let's talk a little bit about the establishment of your company in Texas. When it came to going through that process, was there someone there, a mentor or guidance person that helped you go through that paperwork? How did you establish it?
Yeah, my girl Jamie helped me. She helped me with all of that. That's not really my forte, I should say.
Okay.
Um, so I always have her like look at stuff. Like I read and I look over stuff myself, but I get a second opinion as well. So I believe that you should always have people like you should have people that if somebody's better than you at something, you should have them going over these things and this person going over those things. And then you want to look at it yourself. It's just like having a lawyer. You know what I mean? You want them to look over all your documents or look over your contracts and stuff as a just like a second, like a you know what I mean, a second person to look over it and make sure everything is everything. So yeah, Jamie helped me with all of that.
Okay, well, we gonna give a shout out to Jamie. Thank you for helping him out with that, no doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I imagine the cost of establishing your business a little different out there in Texas, but we're just glad you still established your business, and it's a legit business, and now you're up and functioning. So, what does that business look like? Are you have your own shop, or does it have brick and mortar? What's the establishment of that?
Yeah, I have my own shop. It is a sole proprietorship, but I have my own business. I'm in my own barbershop. I have 7 chairs in total.
Okay. Okay, nice. Now, when it came to now, does your business have, your barbershop, does it have a signage? Does it have a website? Are these other areas that you invested in, or right now you feel like that's something you come to later?
So it was something I would come to later. I started with the website, but we've been like really using booking sites. So I do need to still get the website finished, but we've been just using online booking.
Okay. And that online booking, no doubt, does that also play a part in word of mouth?
Yeah, it's always word of mouth always gonna play a role. Just
Oh,
for the simple fact it's tradition. It's like the something that just never stops regardless. It's always the number one. You can run as many ads as you want to. You can do as much publishing and promoting, but word of mouth spread faster than anything else because
okay.
it's solid. It's
Okay.
a solid pipeline.
Solid. Yeah, you're right about that. Solid indeed. So let's talk a little bit about, because on this show we normally talk about the establishment of business plans and things of that sort. I don't know. Did you find yourself have to go through that, or was it something that was just in your mind and you went forward? You didn't sit down and establish a business plan, but you just kind of knew what you wanted and just went through the process. Is that kind of what happened with you?
Yeah, that was kind of what happened. I think it was more so a little that it was planning because I knew and I planned and prepped, but also it was still like just kind of going through and um, knowing what I wanted, just trying to figure out whatever I need to do to get to it.
Okay. Okay. Now, since you're one thing we definitely talk about on this show too is the importance of making sure your business has its own bank account separate from your personal account, so you don't have
Right.
no conflict of interest with the IRS. No doubt, I'm sure you've established that, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so with that, how do you find the situation when it comes to handling your accounts? Do you have software, or you hire someone to take care of that stuff for you as far as your books for the IRS?
I'll let someone take care of it for me.
Yeah.
Again, it's not like I understand my field, and I like don't get me wrong, I'm active and I look over stuff and I'm like always in tune with it. But at the same time, I know when to hire other people and let them do their job and what they do.
Yeah. So you're a man that outsource.
Yeah, I believe in outsourcing.
Yeah, yeah, and I agree, man. The thing about business is it's not something that you have to do everything, man. You imagine the burnout on that?
That's where the burnout comes from. And stress.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so
So let's talk about social media. Now, do you use social media as far as part of your marketing plan for your company? Is that a source you use? And if so, which
yeah,
social media platforms do you use?
all of them, every last one. Seriously, everyone. Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, X, um, every social media.
Okay, okay. Now I gotta say, that's another area that could be time consuming. Do you have a social
Yeah.
media manager or are you managing all those platforms yourself?
I manage them all myself. I manage them all myself.
Okay, okay. So um, with that, no doubt you can see how uh, how sometimes just managing a business can be so time consuming. It's the work you have to do with cutting hair, it's the downtime or separation time from cutting hair that now you find yourself maybe dealing with your social media management, checking in with the persons who are handling your financial
I didn't
books.
say I was consistent with all of them. I didn't say I was consistent, but I manage them all. It's a lot.
Yeah,
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 it's a lot.
yeah. So what's the game plan as far as the bigger picture? What's the bigger picture that you are expecting in your development of your business? What's the grand scheme of things for you?
Expand, and I just want to expand and keep going to the point to where um, I can remove myself from traditional cutting. You know what I mean? I still want to have a few clients I do here and there, like kind of like recreational, but at the end of the day, I'm start thinking about like, the future and retirement and what life look like after cutting hair and stuff like that. So just trying to get like the business credit strong and get a few more investments going and kind of get it all on autopilot.
Okay,
That's
okay,
really it.
okay. Well, that makes sense, man, because you can't cut hair forever, right?
Yeah, some people do, but I've been doing it a long time and I would like to start thinking about like what's next after. So
All right. Well, man, I'm just glad that you've been through this journey. It doesn't sound like it's been an easy journey. You've been able to conquer a lot of things, but man, just the fact you have come this far, and that you still have a bigger plan that you just mentioned here, that's a good thing, man. Keep up the good work. When it comes to, let's just talk a little bit about. You mentioned about retirement and stuff like that. Um, are there other things that you're looking at that will allow you to retire, or are you using your company in a way that it can build something as like a safety net for you, or what do you got going on as far as that plan?
I mean that's the overall goal. That's the overall goal is to make the right moves to set myself up to where it can do that, where I can allow it to take care of me in that aspect.
Yeah, yeah, and that's good. Now, here's the thing: you a father, and I always bring this up with entrepreneurs and business owners that have children. When it comes to your time management, how have you been able to do it to still be an active father as well as being an active boss?
Um, balance, balance. A lot of times, if I wasn't in the occupation that I was in and having sons at that, it wouldn't work. But having like boys and, just kind of letting them grow up in the barber shop and always with me at work or having the freedom to leave if I need to or do like that's the only way it worked. Just being able to be my own boss and having sons and the ages that they are now, like from the time I started business to like current, you know what I mean? Like nobody's like arm babies anymore and diapers and stuff like that. So them being able to be where they are and me having the control for the most part helps.
Yeah, yeah, that's good stuff, man. That's good stuff. I'm glad you were able to find that balance of being an active father and still take care of your business. Setting a good example for them boys, you know.
Yeah.
Like you said, you've been doing this a long time, so they've been seeing daddy operating this way for quite some time.
Yeah.
So you never know, you might already be inspiring the next generation of barbers in your family, so that's good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay, my man. Well, listen, we've talked about a lot of things here today, and I'm glad that you were able to present the challenges that you've been able to face and overcome. I bring that up often because a lot of times people, when they start having these particular issues, they give up. You've given some words of encouragement to prevent them from doing that if they want to genuinely, realistically continue to be a business owner, knowing that that comes with the package. So I'm glad you was able to share that. Now, how you mentioned social media. So what are your social media names that people can look at your work, and if they're in the area, you know, that they can come and do some business with you?
Rich Hair _ Instagram, Rich Hair on Facebook, and the rest are at Real Rich Hair, like Snapchat or TikTok. Everything else is all at Rich Hair.
Okay.
Rich Republic Studios is the shop page, and it's all the same handles for everything. So if you look at Rich Hair or Rich Republic, it'll all pop up.
Okay, okay. Well, Chris, man, I want to thank you again for taking this time to talk with us, brother. May you have nothing but ongoing success. I'll be back out there in Texas to visit you again, and I'm looking forward to spending time with you and the family. Maybe we could do some barbecuing or something. We could do something.
Oh, yeah.
You know. Okay.
Yeah, we can get something going.
All right, my man. Well, I'm gonna let you go, and thank you again for joining us. All right.
Appreciate it.
All right. And as far as the rest of you all, thank you again for joining us for another episode of Let's Talk Business, and may you continue to keep the mindset of a boss. Take care.
Every day I'm hustling, 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 hustling.